Welcome, Royal Family. You tuned into Healing Queens, the podcast, where the motivation is support and guidance for the growth of our queens. I'm Emma E2K, your certified healing life coach. Welcome, welcome. It is episode 51. 51. What you know about that? 2022, man, 51. So kicking it off for 2022, I want to just travel a little back to a topic that I already had touched. And I have the privilege and the honor to had approached one of my queens. And so this topic, I want to just hear it from a different woman's perspective. So the last time we spoke to Michelle, she was in a dating situation. I'm now speaking to one of my married queens, right? And so the topic, it's a topic that we've already touched before. It's what does leading me look like as a woman? Right. So when I say, or when someone when I think about being led, being in a relationship, and then getting married, what does it look like for my husband or my, the person I'm dating or my boyfriend or my fiance? What does that look like to be led? Right. Because when we talk about being led, we talk about like the woman being submissive. And I know you ladies have certain issues about that. I know I've had, I'm not going to lie, about this, I guess is the word submission. And then how exactly does that operate, right? Of course, you have to be with someone that's equally yoked, right? Like let's start there. But just exactly what does that mean? Does it mean like he tells me I have to wash the dishes, and if I don't, I'm not leading? Like, what does it look like? And for everybody, of course, it looks different. And so we're going to try to give you all the perspective. And I hope that you just, everything you hear and you grasp, you take it, either apply it or maybe look at it and compare it to what you're doing. And see, what I guess was best works for you. I don't hide, right? That, I'm a Christian. So, we go faith based on the things that, the information that we provide. Take it, apply it, and if you don't, it's okay. This may not be for you, and that's okay as well. Share it with someone that you feel it may apply to. This episode is sponsored by Healing Queenz Inc. and E2K Worldwide Services LLC. So we're going to get right into it. This is episode 51, y'all. And I'm excited because today I get to iron sharpen iron with one of my, I have a lot of respect for this queen that I'm about to bring up. We attend the same church. And of course, that's where I met her at Crossover Church, right? Everybody knows that, that's my home church. And she is the leader of the Thrive Community Resource Ministry. She does a lot more than that, but this is one of her titles, aside from being an amazing queen, a wife, mother, the list goes on and on. But I just want to bring her in because I just want to know, and I'm interested to know, her being married, her perspective on what does it look like for her to be led, right? Or be prior to her being married. So without no further ado, Loriana de Paz, welcome. Come on in, girl.
Hey, thank you. Thank you, Emma. Thank you, Queen. And
thank you for accepting the invite. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no, I was actually very surprised and just honored to be here and excited to talk to the other queens on the show. So
yes, they're waiting. So Loriana, so the topic, I know that, when I called you and I asked you about it, and I explained to you what we're trying to do is get all the perspective. But the main question is, what does leading you look like? And of course, you being, married, you would talk from a marriage perspective. But I'm also interested in hearing, what did that look like to you prior to getting married? And does it still look the same? Did it change? Wow, yeah, it still looks the same. So the floor is on you, Queen.
Woo. All right. Well, so I will give you a little bit of background. I have been, my husband and I were high school sweethearts. So we have been dating since I was 16 and he was 17. And we are going on 21 years of marriage this year.
Come on.
Will be 21 years. Happily married. It's been, honestly, life and circumstances has been insane, but our marriage has been bliss. I couldn't be more grateful. So, but yeah, before we got married, I thought I was gonna be single for the rest of my life. I was happy to be that way. Very independent woman, teenage woman, you know how we were, 15 going on,
We know everything.
42.
We know
We
everything.
knew everything. And but honestly, I came from a broken home, from and experienced broken marriages, and also marriages that were not broken by the court, right? They still lived together, but however, in the home, it was not, I knew it was not how a marriage was supposed to look. So I just thought I was gonna be, there was no way I was gonna let any man ever talk to me like that. There was no way I was, gonna let any man lead me in that way,
Mm.
I just knew that that was not how it was supposed to look. Um, and not that I was against marriage or afraid. Um, I just didn't know if it was possible, to find somebody that um, that was gonna treat me better than most of the men I had experienced in my life.
Yeah.
So, so enter my Prince Charming. um, yeah. So when you asked me about that, it was uh, I'll be honest, it's been hard to come up with like a clean cut answer. Um, outside of, like you said, we're faith-based, and I wholeheartedly believe that without God, the reason that I could not envision what a healthy marriage could look like, was because I did not, in my mind, I wasn't including God in that vision.
Ooh, that's good.
And so, because I didn't see him in those examples in my life. So, you know, having God in that has helped me to understand what leadership in a marriage looks like. What does that mean for a man to lead me? Um, and there's that word. So I think sometimes um, we get put off by either by that word. We tend to connect that word leadership with submission. That if I'm accepting the leadership of somebody in my life, the authority of, we want to say, we put it right up there with authority, and then it's like, oh no, hold up, and back up.
What do you
Who are
mean?
you? And
Right.
why do I need to? Why do I need to bow
Permission?
down?
Why
Yeah,
do you need permission?
right, exactly. Um, and it's really not, it's not meant to be that way. If you ever see those, even those, what are they? They're like images of, what a good leader in your job looks like versus a boss,
Mm,
right? So
mm,
you see, like, a leader is somebody that's willing to roll up their sleeves with you. They're willing to walk side by side with you. They want to see you excel.
mm,
Um, and they've gained the trust of their employees.
mm.
And so it's kind of like that in marriage, in a sense, where we're not in competition. Just because I accept my husband's leadership and I say, lead me, it means
Right.
that I trust him, and I'm putting my trust in him. I'm trusting the decisions that he's making, and I'm trusting that he is putting me and his family ahead of himself, right?
That's
And
good.
so because I know that he's done that, I can accept his leadership. Um, so
So,
yeah,
so
so it
just to
was.
so just to like make it clear. So when you say he makes a decision, is it that you just sit down and he just by himself, just like,
Oh,
okay, we're
yeah,
gonna
no,
do
I'm
this?
sorry.
Yeah, okay, yeah,
Oh, no,
okay,
yeah,
come on.
I'm so sorry.
Come on, because we need to really explain to these women, because sometimes they're like, wait a minute, did she just say he made, okay, I understand
Oh,
the
no,
trust,
no,
but
no,
he's
no,
making
no, no,
decision on
no,
his
no.
own? Okay.
No, 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 honey.
Okay, come on.
No, yes, we are married, but we are friends first. And um, so absolutely any decision that we make, it's agreed upon, whether it's he feels led to make a certain decision, or I feel like we should go in this way. Um, Not to say that we always agree, right?
Mhm.
But there's definitely where that we've agreed to come together and figure out, okay, well, what are we going to do? Because there is no other option. Like where he goes, I'm gonna go.
Right,
Right? We've made
right,
that commitment.
right.
Um, and so, and the other way too, right? If I feel like God is calling me in a certain direction, He is gonna support me in that as well. So,
Right,
yeah, no, it's a joint decision always.
right.
Um,
So when you say like, you know, is it when you that you would join him or he would join you? You don't mean like he got a good job and come on, we're moving just because I got a good job, or I have an idea, or I have a, let's all go. You mean like if it's something that God has implied, is that, because I just want you to be clear about that too.
I mean, it could be either one, honestly. Um, us moving to Tampa was him trusting me.
Mm,
I'll put that out there. When we moved here 20 years ago, 19 years ago, it was, I felt like I wanted to go to school and I had opportunities here in Florida that, and he said, okay, if that's, where you feel that we're supposed to go, you prayed about it, I've prayed about it, then okay. And
mm,
we packed up. He found a job here. He came and he found a place. Now, on the other hand, he has he has started his own business, and he's told me, I think I'm supposed to start a business. And so, was I right on board with that? No, because that was a
that's
very
interesting.
scary, decision to make.
Right.
But I had to pray about it. I knew that he had prayed about it. And I had to decide whether or not I trusted that he was putting his family ahead of himself in making this decision.
Mm.
Um,
It wasn't
so
that it wasn't a selfish decision.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So I think that's one of the keys when you ask, what does it mean to lead me? It means that I can trust that your decisions are not out of selfish desires,
That's
right?
good.
So, um, and I did ask my husband. I said, hey, this is the topic, and I'm curious, what's your perception as a man,
Right,
you
right.
know?
Oh, what did he
And
say?
the first thing he said was accountability. Yeah, and I was like, that was actually really good.
That was good. That was good. That was
He
good.
said accountability and to ensure that there's, that what we call order in the home, which just basically means, are we putting God first? You
Mm,
know. So
that was
yeah.
good. I like that accountability. That's big, right? Because you can't just call yourself um a leader and not be respected by who's following.
Hmm.
And not necessarily just following, but yeah, following, right? So I have to trust you and know that you do have my best interest at hand, because it's hard to follow somebody when you don't feel protected or safe,
Right,
or they haven't been accountable to what they said they're going to do.
right,
If every time it's something else and you're like, okay, but you say you're going to start a business and I haven't seen you buy a pen for it, or and you want me to be on board on that. So yeah, so leadership role is not easy. And then
mm-mm,
having someone to trust that leadership in you, they got to see what you're doing, right? You got to walk the walk. You can't just say, hey, I'm a leader,
right,
or I got this or whatever, and then not live up to that. So so not only for, so I think this part is for the men more for the women, as to say that just because you're the husband doesn't automatically give you that, okay, I'm the husband, you got to follow me type thing. You have to play, really walk that walk and
Right.
step into that role. So the wife does trust blindly to
Yeah.
say, hey, okay, let me follow you, or let me, respect what you're saying because you've backed it up.
Yeah. No, definitely. I agree with that. But I also think on the flip side, the wife has to, or, whatever the female role is, whether you're married or dating, if you are wanting to see leadership in your significant other, then you've got to treat them as such as well and extend that grace, because none of us know, just come out knowing how to lead,
Mm,
especially since most of us have never seen that example, right?
mm,
Like, I grew up with a New Yorican mom, right? Like,
mhm.
from the Bronx, like, she is,
Right.
hardcore,
She's
going
the
to
leader.
tell you like it is,
That's it.
independent, like, you know,
Right.
and so, I could be that person.
Mm,
I could
right.
easily be that person, right? Because,
Right.
we do what we got to do. We do it on our own and we make it happen. And, when you want something done, you do it yourself. And so I've had to learn to humble myself, right? Not to lose my security or become insecure in who I am, right?
Right.
If anything, I've had to grow more secure in who I am in order to allow my pride to go down and be more humble,
Mhm,
and extend that grace to my husband, to say, he's called to be the leader in our home. I want him to lead me. I don't like making the decisions, to be completely honest. That's a heavy
mhm,
burden. um and so there's that flip side, right? Like, yeah, men, you got to step it up, because
right.
you want your woman to trust you. But women, what are you doing to help your man
Support
be
that.
secure in that role and support
Mm,
him in that role?
ooh, that's
you know
good. That's good. That's good. I'm glad that you did that, because that you flipped it like that, because yes, the men do should step up and need to step up, to be respected as a leader. But while he's leading women, right? Women, fiancés, what are you doing to support that and make him feel comfortable and confident in
right,
leading? Because
right.
we're listen, we're us women, we're headstrong,
Mhm.
and
Yeah,
when we're raised with no example around us, we want to do that challenge. Like, well,
right. Yeah, it's way easier for my words to tear him down
mm,
than to build him up. Like, I still, in all transparency, I'm still working on that,
wow,
and so, and you see the difference, so if you start to see that your man he's not quite, leading like you want him to,
hmm,
well, I've been challenged to pause and say, okay, well, what have I been doing to help him be where I want him to be? If this is who I want. You don't When you want your baby to start walking, you don't just keep carrying them, right? You put them down, you say, no, no, no,
right.
you're gonna walk. I'm gonna hold your
Or
hand, but you're gonna
or
walk.
you don't yell at them like, hurry up and walk.
Yeah, you gotta have that grace, right? Yeah, you
Raise
gotta
that
give them that
support, that
time.
love.
So it goes both ways. Absolutely
Right.
goes both ways.
So accountability. The
Yeah,
woman, ooh, there it goes, right? So
yeah,
accountability. So the woman has to also be accountable, right? For that man to lead,
yep,
right? So you
absolutely.
are his helpmeet, right? So in that situation, you need to be helping him into, like, and vice versa, because
Right,
he should be doing it for you, so for each other. And at that point, it really is not about me as the wife I'm supporting or him as the husband, but as coming together equally yoked, right?
Yeah.
To create that home, right? And that foundation for the children that
Right.
will be coming or that are already there,
That's
um,
right.
and showing that representation. So that's good. So, you know, I mean, we quick to be like, man, you better, man up and step up or whatever, and as they should. But alongside of that, it's not just you go ahead and stand up and you lead, and I'm just gonna be here just waiting. Is actually, okay, while you leading, how can I walk with you, support you, love on you while
Right.
you walk into that?
Right. Or am I just standing on the side waiting to see if he'll fall?
Mm.
So, and yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, because we can be, ooh, that was good. Because we can be either that full support where, you know what I'm saying, where, because at the end of the day, as strong as a man is or whatever, they need from us. I
Yeah,
mean, we were created as a two puzzle pieces to come together as one, right? To create
that's right.
one.
Yep.
And so if we're just waiting for him to, okay, you find the way how this puzzle is going to work. No, it's, you gotta fit in what get in what you fit in as well to
Yeah.
make this happen. It's not just all on him. And who wants to carry, right? Like you said, like that leadership, who wants to carry that? I'd rather, like, God, you better tend to get him. I don't, not me. I'm
Yeah,
gonna love
I
on
mean,
him.
like I'm intimidated with the title of leader, right?
Right,
It
yes.
just, if you're a boss at your job, you're a manager, whatever it is, you already know that you're carrying a certain, responsibility, level of
Yeah.
responsibility. So for us to say, like, well, let me tell you what it means to lead me,
Mm,
right? Like, I wouldn't want to lead me, like,
right, right.
that's intimidating.
Right.
So how are we
Yeah, I'm a
helping?
hot mess. I don't know who's gonna leave me, but that's another podcast. Anyway, so
You got the right one. He's being built up right now.
all right. From your mouth to God's ears, because God's hearing this podcast, so y'all better watch it.
Mhm, mhm.
But yeah, but I strongly believe in that because I've thank God I've had the privilege and the honor to see healthy marriages and healthy relationships. Me too. I'm raised and, born and raised in the Bronx with a super strong mom, no real male figure, and the male figures that I did have around me, you know. So so it led me to have to pick up certain pieces and kind of step up in certain roles that really
Right.
weren't my roles to step into, but you do what you do to survive. And so that sometimes confuses certain women when you gotta do what you gotta do, and then here comes someone else saying,
Yeah.
okay, well, let's do things this way, and you're like, hold up, I've been doing things this way all this time.
Yeah.
And we don't understand what that means. It's like, oh, here you come now giving orders or whatever, but it's not him really giving orders. It's him, it's him as the man should be, the head of household, the leader. I didn't see a lot of men head of household, honestly. The men that were in the households were the woman still was paying the bills and doing everything, and the man was just
Yeah.
really, you know what I'm saying? So that line of who's leading kind of blurs. And thank God that, like I said, I've been fortunate to see both sides now and understand both sides. Because when you're stuck to one side and you really don't see nothing healthy, you don't got nothing to compare stuff with.
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
if you don't know any healthy marriages, man, get out there and try to meet some at your church. Ask friends, hey, anybody's been married more than 10 years, and ask them questions, and how did they do it, and how did, Loriana would love to answer some questions. If you guys are interested, leave it in the comment below or send us an email if you're battling with this, because you're not the only one if you are. I'm not gonna say I just arrived, and you heard Loriana say that she still kind of, battles with certain things, because we're human, we're in flesh at the end of the day. But the point that we're trying to make here is that You don't have to be afraid to be led. If this is the person that you chose to be in a relationship with, or to get married with, or to have children with, then you need to bring the guard down somewhat, and and allow him, give him grace to step up to be the man that you wanted to be, the man that he should be, right? Because how quickly it is for you to, and I keep it 1,000, how quickly it is for you to go and have a child with him, and hang out with him and do these things with him, but you won't give him the grace to be that head of household that he should be. Maybe he's not working right now, so how can you help him, encourage and motivate him to get a job? Like, it's okay for you to find resources for him too. Don't just be like, well, get a job and let him figure it out, because when he does get a job, it benefits you too and your children, right? So it should be a joint thing, right? You have anything to chime in on that, Loriana?
Mhm. Yeah, and I think too, like, I mean, I know I mentioned this earlier, but just because you're allowing him to step into that role doesn't mean that you are demeaning who you are as a woman. It doesn't mean that we are, making ourselves any less, that we have to be any less of a person or of a woman for that. And I think, if anything, most of the times that I've spoken to women about specifically submission, the struggle with submission, is always come down to insecurity in ourselves.
Trust.
Right. And so, um, work on your own self, because the more that I've grown secure in myself and confident in who I am, and knowing who I am, the more I'm able to lift up my husband and allow him to lead and be okay with that. And the more I learn to trust him. But I've had to kind of set aside my own insecurities so that pride can go down and humility can come up, right? It's kind of like I've had somebody say like, oh, I don't let a man open the door for me. And I said, honey, he can open the door for me. I got nothing to prove, right? Like, that is chivalry and I love it, right? Because I'm secure in who I am. I don't need to prove anything to anybody by opening the door by myself. He can open the door for me. Let him do that, because that's a gesture of kindness, and of, when somebody opens the door for you, you automatically think, wow, that was nice of them,
Right.
And so, just thinking like, what are some ways that I could start to focus on who I am and become secure in who I am, so I'm not taking that out on my husband or my to be, whoever it is.
That's good. So dealing with your issues. Right? 'Cause
Yeah.
we all have issues, not to come in with our issues and apply that to him, that he ain't got nothing to do with what's going on. That's unfair.
Because that's where
we
those
have
unrealistic expectations come from.
we
Right.
have a
And
lot
now
of
we
stuff
missed
going on.
what leadership looks like, because I'm expecting him to fix me as my leader, but that's not his job.
That's good. So be responsible, be accountable for your own stuff and your own mess, and heal. Hello, heal, ladies, queens, kings that you're watching. It's so important to heal, because if you don't heal, you bring your trauma into the situation, and then it's like this whole baggage stuff that you bring into someone to seep through it, and that's not their garbage.
Right.
It's not their garbage, and it's unfair. And it not is only is unfair to the person you're bringing it to, but it's unfair to yourself, because this could be that person, your person, and you bring in all this, dumping all this stuff that don't belong to that person, could either lead them away, or now, it just won't be healthy. You want to come into something healthy, you got to be healthy, right? And being healthy means healing. So we really encouraging you to heal from this. If this is something you're going through, if you're striving to be married, right? You got to work on you before you come to your partner or your, fiance, before you say yes, or you have these expectations or how things are going to be. You need to communicate and talk to other people that are married, and not just freshly married, but been married for a couple of years, that they can give you some pointers. Go to marriage counseling, do all these things to prepare. Have your own separate therapy sessions, and it's okay. It's fine for you to have therapy together as a couple, have therapy separate. That is great and okay, because that's just going to, I think, enhance whatever it is, when you guys come together. So I think this was good. I think we dropped some gems. What do you think?
I think so. There's
Right?
some nuggets in here.
Yeah, I think we got some good nuggets.
Good stuff.
Yeah. If you guys have some nuggets or questions, like I said, comment on the comment below, or if feel free to email at healingqueens@gmail.com. If you have any questions for Loriana, make sure you email us. I'll make sure that she gets those questions and make sure that you guys get a reply. I think this is it. Thank you so much, Loriana. I so appreciate you. I love you, and you're amazing. And just a couple of years that I've had to see you and see some transformation in you, and you blossoming,
Thank you.
it's been wonderful to see. It's really been wonderful to see, because it has encouraged me, you being in the faith a lot longer than me. It has encouraged me that I'm like, okay, so I thought, like, after you have faith for a couple of years, everything, you good, like you perfect. And that's not the
No.
case. That's not the case. And that's okay too.
Yeah,
And that's okay
absolutely.
too.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's okay. That just verifies the fact that we're human and our need for Jesus, right? So
Yes. Every day, all day. Every day, all day. So
mhm.
what does it look like to be led? Everybody has to answer, because it has a different answer, rather, because you have your different experiences and your different perspectives. We're just providing different perspective. This perspective was for the ones that are married. And whether you agree or disagree, it's okay. It's not about I'm right or wrong thing. It's just putting out information, giving you certain tools, and see if it applies to you. And if it doesn't, it's okay. Share it with those that can use it or could benefit from what was said here today. So thank you, Queens. Thank you, Kings, that definitely support this podcast. As you know, Healing Queens podcast is a nonprofit organization. We do life with women before, during, and after crisis. And so the core of our nonprofit is really doing life with women. So yes, we have resources, and yes, we refer women to, whatever their needs may be. But what at the core, what Healing Queens is about is that we really do life. So when we say we're doing life with you, 20 years later, expect us still to be in your life and in your business. Not in your business, but I'm saying in your life. Encouraging you, motivating you, being inspired, being at all those weddings, and being at the baby showers. Like, we want to walk with you, to let you know that you're not, walking alone. We want to pray for you if prayer is what you need. And I can tell some real good jokes if you just want to laugh. So so at the core, that's what we mainly Healing Queens is about. So I just wanted to give you a little tidbit. We are a 501c3, so we do count with the generosity of the public to continue so we can be able to service the women. There's a lot of things that we do. 60% of the women, of course, is confidential. And so we cannot speak about what we do, but the 40% will be posted like on our social medias, and you'll see the things, we give away stuff, and we're out there, helping the community and co-laboring with all those that, are about serving their community and serving the woman and the men population. Because I know we're called Healing Queens, but we do service kings as well. So we definitely support that, because, it's great to encourage the woman to heal. But if we're not encouraging a man to heal, what are we doing?
That's
Right?
right. Yeah,
So,
totally.
right.
Totally.
So thank you, Loriana. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Everybody, God bless you. And till the next time, man, we made it 51. And so into 52. Thank you for all the support. Continue to share, subscribe. We're on YouTube. We're on Anchor FM. We are on wherever you can hear your podcast. And if you don't, then request for us, Healing Queens, the podcast. Again, we appreciate you. We thank you. And peace.